I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but it is the sound of a chipper. And yes, I've already investigated, and there are no trees being taken down nearby that I might be able to go woodhound up. It is actually just the utility company trimming some branches along the power lines on the street right down the road. So unfortunately, no wood to get. But it's always a funny thing when you go outside and you like hear a wood chipper going, and you're like, wait a minute, that might be a tree service company taking a tree down nearby. There might be some wood to have, but not today. Today, I am going to attempt to move the little woodshed here over to close to its new location. I'm not going to put it in place. Well, I don't know yet. We'll see what I get to. I did ask for some feedback a few videos ago on moving this, and I think I've come up with a plan. So the overwhelming response to my question on moving this little shelter was, in fact, to go with my original plan of putting some braces up high here, coming in with the pallet forks. I've got those spread as wide as they go, and lift this up. The other thing I was thinking is just to drag it, but a lot of you pointed out that dragging it might in fact damage it and not be a very good idea. I also threw some cross bracing on there to kind of just hold it together and keep it a little more rigid. So one thing I did already check on was putting this brace right here this high up allows the top of the pallet forks right here to actually hit and rest against that up there. Because I was worried about this possibly being a little too top heavy and tipping back. But with the top of the pallet forks against that, the top of the woodshed here kind of holds everything in place. So the only thing left to find out is whether or not the Kioti CK2610 will be able to lift this thing up. I have no idea how much this weighs, but I'm thinking the lift capacity of the tractor is, I believe, 1,800 pounds or something like that, but I think that's maybe from like ground level. I'm not exactly sure how all that calculations work as far as the higher up you get, the less power you have. But we are about, we'll see if I can just lift this up just enough to get it off its blocks and move it over to its new location over there. The challenge will be getting the forks in there and level and keeping them level as I move this. But we'll see what happens. All right, here goes. We have liftoff, I think. Oh, yes, we do. Just make sure it doesn't drag. Well, I was just about to say, so far this is going good, and then I hit a little high spot. Oh, and now I'm digging into the ground. There we go. All right, so that didn't go too bad. I've got it over here. I'm gonna have to, I'm not sure how I'm gonna get this into final resting position. I do have to kind of figure out how much closer I can get this end before, or if it will hit the top up there. So I need to get this straightened out, and I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better to actually move this and come in here from the back side to get it into its final destination. As I think this tree right here is gonna mess me up. I don't think I'll have enough room between this tree and where I need to put it. So I may need to come from the back side, which means I will need to move that tote right there. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out pretty good. That was, like I mentioned, that went actually a lot better than I thought it was. Right? Worked out good. I think having the bracing on helped, and I think being able to pick it up and have this top rest against the pallet forks also made it pretty stable. I wasn't that nervous. Well, I was nervous, but I wasn't that nervous moving it over here. And now if we go back to where it used to be, I know there were people asking why I wanted to move it. Why not just leave it where it was? And I will show you right now why, while this was empty, why I wanted to move it out of here. And I think over there will actually be a better place for it, because it will kind of complete that whole section of stacking wood, almost acting as like doubling as a privacy fence. But over here where it used to sit, we have that dead pine tree that I'm having brought down. There's that dead pine tree right there. There is this little dead thing, I don't even know what that is behind it. There is another standing dead pine, and that one. I'm not sure what to do about this one. I might have to wait with him until I move this thing out of the way. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 trees behind that were behind that little shelter. And these pine, these things, you get the wrong, once they get dead like this and they get kind of brittle on the bottom, like that, it doesn't take much of a wind to just blow that down. And that thing is kind of top heavy and leaning right out into the wood yard here, where it would have crashed into the shelter if I would have left it there. So I moved it over. That one back there, that's another one, just dead, and they just get brittle. You can see, actually that one had the top snap off of it, along with that one. So I figured it would be a good time, while that shelter is empty, before I refilled it, move it, get these trees down. And then, like I mentioned, I'm kind of liking the fact that as I'm back here in the wood yard, well, let me give you an example. As I'm over here in the wood yard, the sun might be in the way, but those two little wood sheds that I have filled up right now, they act as a pretty nice privacy fence. So next steps, I will move that tote. I think I'm gonna need to come in from the back side, like I mentioned, and get things in place. I'm gonna get it set where I want it, and then just lift it up again and bring the blocks that were over here and set them down. And hopefully it will set nice and level. If not, on those wood chips, I have found that if it's not completely level, once you fill that thing up with wood, it will level and settle itself. It'll settle down and be level. So I didn't have to move that other tote, and I didn't need to come in from the other side of this. I was able to just shimmy the front over a little bit and scoot the back the other way, and then I pushed it in to perfect position. And in doing so, I sort of also leveled out the wood chips that were underneath it. So I went over and got the blocks that were underneath it before, lifted it up once again, put the blocks underneath, and put it back down in place, just like that. So the little woodshed has now joined the line over here of the other two. Ooh, look at those. Let's just take a moment. Full screen, wall to wall. And now I need to get filling this thing up. But yeah, so I've got the blocks underneath, just like before. Everything leveled out. It's sitting good. This little section between here, I think what I'll do is somehow I might be able to fit a pallet in between there, and then I'm going to stack that up and fill it up as well. So the little wood shelter moved over to its new home, and I believe it's going to stay here. Because even once I get those trees cleared out over there, my eventual plan is to move that other big woodshed over here, add it on to the end of this one, and then just have a full line where I can stack all my wood right over here. And with that, I am going to go check and see what Amanda is up to and see if I can't get her out here to start stacking some wood in the new little shelter there. Or not the new shelter, in the old shelter in the new location.
I've been a real bad boy on the town all night.